It's time for my January 2020 wrap-up. Let's talk books! How on earth are we at the end of January already? Now, don't get me wrong, January has seemed like the longest month in the entire history of humanity, but it's the end of January, and we've already done a month of 2020 already. That's ridiculous. Sorry, just throwing something really appropriate. Just throwing my air freshener out of the way. Looking good, folks. Hello, this is Olivia, this is Stagey Bookish, and this is my January 2020 wrap-up. It's unreal. I know, like I said, this month has been the longest month in the entire history of the universe, but here we are. And I'm here today to talk to you all about the books that I read in January. In January, I read 8 books. 8 books! In the first month of the year, that's ridiculous. And actually, my very first book of the year, I finished in the early hours of New Year's Day. So actually, I think it was about 2 a.m. on January the 1st, 2020 that I finished my first book. Yes! I was like, I'll put it down. Then I couldn't get to sleep on like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and I was like, get in. But I have 8 books to talk to you about. Let me count those again to make sure. No, I do have 8 books to talk to you about. We have a couple of 5 stars, a lot of kind of 3 and 4 stars. There was a lot of books this month where I was kind of a bit, they're all right, but they're not, they just don't do anything for me, and that's okay. You might love them, I didn't as much, but I'm so pleased with what I've read this month. I have got a 9th read which I'm currently working on that I may finish before the end of January. I don't know, but if not, it will be the first book I read in February. I will talk about that at the end of the video because that links to some videos you're going to get in February, so I hope that's okay. Right, 8 books, let's get. Okay, so I'm going to do this in reverse order from my lowest rated book up to my favourite book of the month, or spoiler, joint favourite books of the month. And I'm going to start with a little graphic novel that I read, which is called A Girl in the Himalayas by, let me make sure I pronounce it right, David Jesus Vignoli. This is one I had picked up a while ago, just because I saw someone talk about it and it's like, that sounds really cute. It's only tiny, I think it's only about 170 pages, but essentially you have, it's kind of set in the Himalayas, there's a lot of mythology to it. You have our main character called Vijaya, who is a young girl who doesn't feel she fits into kind of her modern world and kind of, the way that she lives. And she accidentally stumbles and is found in this mysterious sanctuary that is hidden in the Himalayan mountains. While there, she is, she meets kind of less magical creatures, she gets completely settled in. The kind of elderly leader of the sanctuary completely is smitten with her, but a lot of the creatures there see her as human, and thus human mankind means danger. And it's essentially how kind of she faces up to that, how she's not sure how to deal with this. Is this home now? Is it not home? Essentially, it's about the importance of family and the importance of belonging, and it's the cutest book. The art style is really, really stunning, and I highly recommend you look it up. 3 stars for me. It was a good read. It's not something I'm going to remember, but I'm glad I read it, if that makes sense, okay? Going up to my next book, which was a 3.5. This surprised me a little bit because this has been so hyped, certainly here in the UK, and that is, I think it's classed as adult fiction, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. Now this, for me, I'd seen a lot of hype about it, and that's completely the reason I picked it up. A lot of these were on ebook, by the way. I picked it up on the premise that I knew that part of the story was you had, there is a African-American young teen girl who babysits for a kind of very wealthy white privileged family, and one night she is asked by the family to take the youngest daughter, who she babysits all the time, probably 3-4 years old, to the store, to a local store, just take her away from the house for a couple of hours. She's not told why, and while you're there, this girl is reported to the store police and the store detectives, who believe she's actually kidnapped the little girl. And it's all about racism, and it's about kind of, there's so many, there's racism, there's kind of institutionalized racism, there is kind of gender roles, there is, there's an element of obsession and kind of underappreciation in marriage. And it reminded me a lot of Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. So if you've read that, you might like this. But at the start, it was stunningly written, it was stunningly put together. I have to say, there was kind of a reveal towards the end of the book about a certain element of it that didn't surprise me. I hadn't guessed, but it didn't surprise me. I kind of went, oh. And for a reveal like it was, I was meant to be going, whoa! You know my difference. There was the reveal in chapter 5 that I was like, oh my, oh, this got interesting. And then the reveal just before the end was like, okay. I didn't invest in those characters as much as I want, and that for me is part of the reading experience. You should be able to invest in these characters, and I couldn't. It's a beautifully written, it's really well crafted. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Book number 3 out of 8 for me this month actually is another 3.5-star read, and was an arc called Just Breathe by Cami McGovern. Cami McGovern is an author I don't know. I was intrigued by the concept of this book. Essentially what you need to know about this book is it focuses completely around the trope of sick kids in love. Think Fault in Our Stars, but just with different illnesses. Now don't get me wrong, there was a lot of places in this where my heart broke. But it built up and then it broke and then it built up and then it broke. But it's just something I feel like I've seen before. Don't get me wrong, if you like kind of Fault in Our Stars, it's very John Green type-esque. I think you would really like this, and there are some definite hard-hitting issues here. But that kind of, the love conquers all. It was an enjoyable read, but again, a bit like A Girl in the Himalayas, I don't know if I'm going to remember it. And I feel bad saying that, but I'm trying to be as honest with as I can here. Following on this, so this was an arc that was passed to me by a friend, so I didn't receive it. Another arc that was passed to me by a friend, we now go into my 4 stars of the month, was Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen. Make sure I'm saying that right. And this, again, this surprised me because on the surface this is a fluffy contemporary, but actually there's elements to it. There's so much more than that. You have our main character Eva, who is obsessed with kind of dance and kind of any form of dance, and she, rather than she wants to essentially, she's in the last year of high school, she wants to go on and do something with dance. Her parents are like, no, that's not going to get you a job, it's not going to get you a career. So what they decide to do the summer after she leaves high school, before she's due to start college, is to send her to a summer school in Taiwan. That's where her family's originally from, to get in touch with her roots, to develop skills that are going to help her on the way to this proper career. She arrives, it's really kind of claustrophobic, she doesn't know what to do with it. She obviously, you know, has lived a long time under parents' rule. When she gets there, it's actually, as much as it's a summer school, it's also party central, and drinking and going to clubs and kind of doing naughty things, and she loves it. But there's also elements in here, I think this is why I put this as a 4-star, in that there are elements in here of kind of sexting and kind of inappropriate images, and kind of how you deal with that. Kind of someone who's been so closed off from the culture in the world, opening up to things, kind of growing up, making your own decisions. There's so many levels to this. I believe this is Abigail Hing Wen's debut, and it's a stunning debut. There are some bits that seem rushed, but overall the writing style in this is like to die for, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think according to Goodreads there's going to be a Love Boat Taipei 2. I don't know when. I think it's still untitled at the moment, but it's one I am definitely really, really intrigued to look at. Really, really intrigued. Moving on, my next books, in fact my next 2 books actually, both got 4.5 stars, so I'm going to treat them together. And the thing is, I actually can't talk about these 2 books with talking about one that I read just before New Year's, kind of between Christmas and New Year's. So the 4.5 stars that I want to talk about are the second 2 books in the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. That is The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. I read The Cruel Prince just between Christmas and New Year, and that was also a 4.5 stars, so I'm going to give that to the whole trilogy. I have no idea why I slept on this for so long. It was so good. I was obsessed. I think I marathoned all 3 books. I think I started on the 30th of December, and by the 2nd of January I'd read all 3 books. So it's like 30th, but in 4 days I'd read all 3 books. That's how captivating it was. I can't really talk about the plot of these 2 because unless you've read The Cruel Prince, it'll be spoilers. But as far as The Cruel Prince goes, main character Jude is kind of sees her parents murdered in front of her by a mysterious creature when she's young. She's taken away to the world of Fae, and she's brought up within this world. There's politics, there's kind of deception, there's intrigue, there's war, there's battles, there's all the angsty love and romance you can possibly get ever. Mostly thanks to a certain Prince Carden. But the drama, particularly in The Cruel Prince, there were some moments in The Cruel Prince I was like, what? What just happened? Wicked King, exactly the same. Now I rated Queen of Nothing 4.5 stars. I know for people who have been like hardcore for this series for many, many years, they do not like a lot of people have said they do not like the Queen of Nothing. They said it's a really big disappointment and rushed. I can see where that's coming on. From me, what I loved about the kind of the elements of all three, I think for action and plot, books 1 and 2 were better, but book 3, I got swung on the romance and the angst and the drama and the factor of these. So I can't believe I didn't jump on this sooner. It has really made me intrigued to read a lot more of Holly Black's stuff, kind of some of her backlist titles. I know I've got Darkest Part of the Forest and I've got the Modern Fairy Tales to try, but yeah, if you haven't read it, get on it. You just need to get on it. On to my top 2 books of the month. Both of these got 5 stars, so they're in no particular order. But yeah, these 2 got 5 stars. Number 1 was The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. This is another one, a bit like The Cruel Prince, that I've been sat on for quite a long time. And the opportunity in one of the kind of book group club challenges that I'm a part of on Facebook, big up the Facebook fam, came up with a chance to do a Wicked Deep buddy read. I thought, you know what, why not? Let's give this a go. And I did, and I loved it. The thing that stood out for me in this book is the atmosphere in this book. I literally, some of the descriptions Shay Earnshaw came up with this was like gold standard, 5 star, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 star if I could have given it to her. There were points, she was describing, a cold winter's eve down by the dock. I felt cold. I was sitting in a really hot house and I suddenly felt I had shivers. I had chills. That is how good the atmosphere is in this story. As far as the plot, you come to this little kind of coastal town in the States where many, many moons ago there is... Oh, sorry, my mind just keeps going blank today. There were 3 girls that came to town, naughty girls, who kind of committed loads of treachery and had fun and did all the things that girls shouldn't do. And they were convicted by the people at the time as witches. And as witches, they were drowned in the bottom of the lake that's at the centre of this town. But since then, because of their potentially wrongful doings, we don't know, every year there's a week in the summer, the kind of time in the summer where the girls, the witches, the spirits of the witches come back, possess any 3 girls in the town, and they then lure 3 lads from the town to their death. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it kind of is this one summer where we've got our main character who's, fearful of what's coming up. We've got a new boy in town that could change the course of things. There's, deception, there's kind of claims, there's you're this, you're that, and there's mystery. The atmosphere in this just made it so kind of unputdownable for me. It was just so wonderful to read. There was a particularly big reveal about the main character towards the end. I'm not going to say any more about what it is because spoilers, I'd worked out but was still quite shocking. And kind of after that, the story, and I know this is a critique of the book, the story kind of got wrapped up super duper quickly. Yes, I can see that, but for me, I think that just the atmosphere so swept me along with this, and it's like nothing I've ever read before, and I can't recommend it enough. 5 stars for The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. My other 5-star read is actually the one that I've most recently finished before the one I'm currently reading, and it's another one that was out there for me. Can You See Me? Written by Rebecca Westcott and Libby Scott. I had no idea what this was about. I knew that we'd got it in our library where I work, and I put it on a display, and I kept looking at it going, I really want to read that. I really need to read that. So I did. And what I love about this is it's the story of Tally, who is our protagonist, who is 11 years old, just about to start secondary school and everything that comes with it. The thing is, though, Tally's autistic. And it is kind of her life, her dealing with things, her going to school, the changes that can come going to secondary school. And I'm questioning myself. This is Tally, isn't it? Questioning myself. Yes. What she has to deal through going to school, kind of, the kind of changes teenagers go through anyway. And all of that was so expertly done. But then I found out that actually one of the 2 authors is almost the real life Tally, and it is her story that this is based on. And my mind just went, literally, I was like, I have no, the most stunning book that I would recommend to every person, adult or child, to read, particularly if you you know, if you have someone in your family who is autistic, if you know someone who has an autistic child, you know, something that should bring so much empathy from kind of young people today in the understanding of what's going on. And that's what this book preaches, the element of being open about yourself, not being afraid to hide, and, you know, people understanding that not everybody's the same, and you shouldn't bully people because they're different to you. Actually, you should see it as a blessing that they're different to you. And it just really is the most stunning book. You know, some of it I was shocked, I was stunned, I was angry, I was happy, I was joyous, I was sad, and it just is the most compelling read. I can't recommend it enough. There is another one which I'm assuming is the next part of the story coming out this year, which I think is called, first one's Can You See Me? I think the next one's called Do You See Me? And I want to get it, I want to have it like now, because I want to see what happens with Tally and how this goes on. But yes, if you haven't seen it, pick it up. So that is all the books I have already read in January. So that is my January wrap up, all 8 books. Completely different, diverse range. I am currently reading a book. I'm filming this just before the end of January. I am currently reading this. I don't know if I'll get it finished before the end of January, but if I don't, it will be the first book I finish in February. That is Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. This is middle grade, and it is a modern Beauty and the Beast retelling. Can't think why I'd want to pick it up, can you? I am very lucky to be part of Sandhya Menon's street team. For this, thus in February around the release, I think it's at the 18th of February, you will be getting some very special Of Curses and Kisses content once I finish reading this and around the release date, so please look out for it. Please look out for Sandhya's other books as well. She sent us, the street team, an e-arc of her new book that comes out in June, which is 10 Things I Hate About Pinky, which kind of goes with her previous books. There's something about Sweetie, When Dimple Met Rishi, and From Twinkle with Love. So this is my current read. There's almost an element of kind of empire, people not doing what they're told, people stealing things that don't belong to them, blasphemy, I don't know if blasphemy is the right word, but you know, catcalling, name calling. But our 2 main characters, I think this is Grey, and Jaya, who's Princess Jaya. We'll see what goes on there. I've read a chapter and I'm really intrigued already. There is, I think it's on one of the first pages. Let me show you, because I read this in the e-arc and I was like, where is it? Here, I don't know if you can read that. Can you read that? This is actually using the Disney movie as well. He fell into despair and lost all hope, for who could ever learn to love a beast? Oh, I'm so excited to read this. I can't wait. I've loved the first chapter. I'm finishing filming today and I'm going to sit back down with this. Really excited. This, like I said, it'll either be my last book in January or my first book in February, and there will be some special Of Curses and Kisses content coming your way very, very soon. That is my January wrap up. Thank you for listening to me go on and on and on about these books, trying to remember what the hell I've read this month, as you may have noticed with the assistance of some notes. The girl's getting old, she forgets. February is going to be a great month. So you're going to have some videos on Of Curses and Kisses. Valentine's Day is coming up. You are going to get, it's my birthday in February. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Lots of things coming up in February. And also, I'm going to be taking part in the next round of the Contemporary-a-thon. So you'll be getting a TBR for that very, very soon as well, when I've sorted out the finer details. And I'm also going to be hopefully participating. Kayla over at Books and Lala has started her own book club called the Literally Dead Book Club, and the book for February is, I think it's called The Other People by CJ Tudor. So that's going to be coming up in February as well. Lots and lots and lots of content. Thank you for watching this video. If you don't already, please hit subscribe and come and see me over on my social media channels. It would be lovely to see you there. My name is Olivia. This has been Stagey Bookish, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye!